No one has walked in your shoes. Nobody has experienced the same challenges, the same background, the same wins that you have. So you really can't compare where you are to where they are, because your path is completely different. Your path in time and place is completely different from where they are. Hello everyone, welcome. I'm Elaine, and today we are walking along the National Mall here in Washington, D.C. As you can see, the Capitol building is right behind me here. It's a beautiful day. It was like pouring rain earlier, and all of a sudden the sun came out, so we're going to do a little walk along the National Mall. Something that notice is that along the mall here, it's lined with trees and these gravel walkways. The gravel walkways are more popular. You see a lot more people walking on them. But if you just move over into the tree line area in the grass, it's a lot less crowded and there's a lot more shade. So as you can see, it's quite sunny right now. So I'm going to move over into the tree area in the shade here. So yesterday was the DC bike ride. It's an annual bike ride that they have. It's 20 miles long. It goes around all the different sites of DC, all the monuments and everything. It is not a race. It is totally just a really fun social ride. And yeah, that's what it's meant to be. It's meant to be fun. It's not meant to be competitive in any way. There's no medal. There's no Fisher medal, or there's also no like result standings or anything like that. They do give you a number just for the registration and for the pictures at the end, but that's about it. And so did that yesterday. It was a lot of fun. I'll show you some of the video from the event, but it was just a total blast. It was just a lot of fun to play tourist here in DC, to bike roadways that were completely closed off to traffic, roads that normally you can't ride on a bike because they're just too crowded and there's cars everywhere. So it was awesome to enjoy. And it was just all about enjoying the experience on a bike. So it was all about like doing something for the joy of it, not for the pressure to achieve something like you would had it been like a race day event, things like that. So that was making me think about the constant pressure to achieve things, and here in the DC region that can be very much a thing. This is, I think, what people would call like a very high driven, high achieving kind of area. And there can be a lot of temptation for comparison. So it made me think about things like those lists that you always see in articles and posted on social media. Like, here are the top 30 people under 30 that achieved this thing. Or here is a 20-year-old that made $1 million by the age of 20. In the case of YouTube, it's like, I see all these things posted all the time of like, I gained 10,000 followers in 2 weeks. And so anyway, with all of these lists, the temptation can be to compare oneself to those achievements of those lists. And those are how they are designed. And the thought can be, well, wait a second. I'm over 30. I didn't achieve those things. Does that mean I'm not meeting a milestone? Or like in my case, I've been doing this for a couple months now. I have 20 followers, which I feel is awesome. If I was judging myself by the, 10,000 followers in 2 weeks, does that mean I am failing at this and I need to quit? No, because the people doing that may be doing something completely different than what I am doing. I'm doing something for a specific reason. So if I was to compare myself to that metric, that really means nothing. I might feel like I'm failing, and it's completely unfounded. So that comparisonitis, that temptation to compare, can just be exhausting. So how I kind of manage it and get through it is to just recognize it for what it is, right? Social media and our culture like numbers, like milestones with numbers, for the reason of comparison, so that people will click on that article or click on that video to listen to what that person had to say. Um, and it's usually meant to make us question ourselves, makes us question like where we are in life. And it's because usually these groups are selling something. They want you to buy into the advice that they are selling. So it's very much look at the results I achieved. If you want this, buy the thing that I am selling, right? Which is where the comparison comes in. And this is why those things are always focused on things like age and money, because those are very emotional and popular milestones for people to be sensitive to and people to be wondering, am I doing the right thing? Am I on track? Because somebody else achieved something in this manner. Am I doing the right thing? Am I behind? And as you can imagine, that all leads to like the constant churn, the constant spinning, the constant questioning, which is what we want to avoid, because that does lead to all of that exhaustion. And to remember that you are on your own path. You are on a path that is different than what those folks that are selling those things, that are making those claims of achievement, have done. No one has walked in your shoes. Nobody has experienced the same challenges, the same background, the same wins that you have. So you really can't compare where you are to where they are, because your path is completely different. Your path in time and place is completely different from where they are. And to remember that your path is valuable, like what you're doing is enough. And just because you don't achieve the same numbers in the same amount of time as what somebody else is claiming doesn't mean that what you are doing isn't valuable, isn't worth it. It just means it's different. So have faith in the path that you are pursuing, have confidence in what you are pursuing. What I tend to think about is, I keep in mind, when I see those things, it's like, that's great for them, but this is what I'm doing. And it's fine to take advice from folks that have gone down a similar path. And that's the thing, the path is similar, but it's not the exact path. There's not a formula, like a set formula to follow. If there was, everybody would be successful and nobody would be special, because everybody will have achieved that thing, right? So, it's thinking about those things, keeping those things in mind, which can be really hard, because I know as humans, it can be very, very easy to compare things. Also know that things are always changing over time. So when a person is making a claim like, I achieved this by this date or by this age, or this milestone in life, just know that by the time they make that claim, things will have already changed. So the same formula cannot be followed. So in the case of like all these things about achieving a certain amount of money by a certain amount of time, the economic market could have completely changed by then. For the folks, I always like to use my YouTube example. For the folks that are on YouTube, it's like YouTube is constantly changing its algorithm of how it shows videos to people and to different audiences. So it keeps everybody guessing. And by the time somebody releases an advice video of, here's how I achieved gaining this many thousands of followers in this amount of time, YouTube could have changed their algorithm several times over by then. So there are so many things that are out of our control like that we cannot have, we cannot have any control over it. So it's always going to change, and just recognizing that. It's out of our control. I cannot do anything to change it. So I'm just going to stick to the path that I'm on and stick to the enjoyment of the process. Like for me, right now I have 20 awesome followers out there. So I think about being in a room talking to all 20 of you, being present. And when I think about it like that, I'm like, you know what? That's a good sizable room for like a seminar or a talk, having 20 people show up. I have been in talks where there have been 2 people in a large hall, which can be like really difficult, like really embarrassing sometimes. It's like, oh my gosh, only 2 people showed up to my talk. The fact that I have 20 showing up right now, I personally consider that a success, you know, for my little corner of the internet and everything. So that's how I'm keeping it grounded and keeping it in mind. Also, when you do achieve things, to be sure to take the time to pause and celebrate those wins. So let's say you set a goal for yourself and you achieve that goal. Don't immediately jump to the next bar that's out there. So, for example, maybe that person that got $1 million by 20 years old, the next bar is going to be what, 2 million, 5 million, 10 million, right? There is always another bar to be set to go after. So when you're making your goals and things, and when you're actually achieving what you set out to do and you get those wins, to stop and really enjoy those wins and to not just immediately jump to the next thing. When those wins occur, sometimes it's like they're for a fleeting moment, and we often don't take enough time to just stop and enjoy the fact that we did something good, we achieved something, and it can be really fleeting. So to relish the moment that you did something good, and to just stop and enjoy that win that you got. Don't always just automatically like, okay, I achieved it, I need to find the next bar, I need to go after the next thing. You know, take that time to pause and really enjoy what you did, and enjoy the fact that you did something difficult, that you achieved something in a process, and that you learned something from it. So yeah, it's good to have goals. It's good to go after these things in our careers, in our lives, and things like that. But knowing that the result isn't what's meant to be going after. It's that whole process. It's the meaning is in the process of going after that goal. And other people have done other things out there in the world, and we could certainly pull from them and pull from their advice and learn from them, but it doesn't mean that we have to achieve the exact same result. We are all on our own paths. We're all walking our own paths in a different point in time, and we need to enjoy and have confidence in the fact that we are walking these paths. So with that, I am going to thank you for joining me on this really awesome day here in Washington, D.C., walking along the National Mall here. And I will see you on the next walk.